Hello there.
You know what I've come for. This is the way.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Hello and welcome to the Podawakens. We are going to be talking Book of Boba Fett Chapter 3. My name is Jordan Wiegand, and with me is a man who jumped on his Mos Espa Vespa. It's Logan Stump.
I love the Mos Espa Vespa. That's a fun tongue twister.
It is.
I'm always shocked when you get the names of podcasts right.
Oh, me too. I was like,
wow,
I had to look at the logo. But yeah. So we're going to be talking Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa, directed by Robert Rodriguez, written by Jon Favreau, premiered January 12th, 2022 on Disney+. The synopsis: Boba Fett must deal with two very different threats. Oh, I love the very, very vague synopsises we always get with the Star Wars shows. I almost thought I was typing the same one from last week, which was Boba faces new challengers on Tatooine. It was almost the same synopsis. What is initial thoughts, Logan, on Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa? Another very divisive episode.
I keep having fun. I'm telling you, I don't care how divisive it is. I'm having a blast. I think that I look for elements to build on to like the next episode. Like, yeah, there might be some parts of episodes that I'm like, okay, like, yeah, like that wasn't great, but like it's building towards something. And until you see the whole story, you can't really judge it, right? Like, I feel like it's like when you read a book, if you read 6 chapters out of the 36 that are, and you go, yeah, this isn't very good. It just doesn't make sense to me. I just like, I don't know. I think because we do podcasts now, Jordan, and especially sports podcasts, you got to be very, I don't know, neutral. I feel always very neutral with these. Like, I feel like I know some things that people don't like, and I understand. But then I for the most part, just have fun because it's an escape from the world that we live in today. And it was a good, short little episode. And I thought it was great the way that the story kind of progresses. And then we got a whole different look into the Star Wars universe. About vehicles and everything else that we didn't know exist. So I loved it. But again, you can come after me on Twitter if you want.
You know what this reminds me of? It's like this time you're on the Last Jedi side here.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like this show has been so divisive on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I've seen a lot of people saying it's like actively bad now. And
Yeah.
we haven't seen a lot of that with these with the Star Wars shows, because it's actually only the second one we've gotten live action. So I do find it interesting. So I think it's starting to get to that point where people are very either like it or you don't at this point. I enjoyed it again. I did. I do have some mild complaints that we'll talk about. But all right, so let's dig a little deeper into it. Boba Fett. It opens up with him in his office, I don't know, the throne room, right? Where they're trying to figure out how they're going to handle Jabba's territory. We get I think 8D8, the droid, shows like how it was split up before. Like what areas were given to each people, what Bib Fortuna did after Jabba died, all that kind of stuff. And we actually go ahead and get Stephen Root, by the way, here, who is a comedic actor. He's been in shows like he's been in Office Space, the movie. He was in shows like why am I blanking on the show right now? Oh, News Radio in the 90s. He's been in a whole bunch of stuff throughout the time. He shows up as a character named Lortha Peel He's the shop owner that's selling the water. And he says that some like hooligans, I guess, right, who have some modifications are stealing the water. So he says he doesn't really respect Boba Fett. He says nobody really respects Boba Fett. But if he does fix this issue for him, he'll pay double, the amount that he's paying to Boba Fett. So Boba thinks it's worthy. He thinks that this is going to help maybe get some people onto his side. And he decides to go into Mos Espa and speak to these I don't know, cyborgs is how they have it listed on some of here, but it definitely seems to be more like, I guess that's a technical definition of a cyborg, but they have some modifications. Like one of the girls has a new, like a robotic arm. The one guy has an eye, like a robotic eye. But he goes and tries to interfere with, and talk to the gang, trying to tell them to stop. The gang is actually going to say that it's the water guy's fault because he is putting an absurd price. I forget, was it like 1,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Credits or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I don't know if it was credits. It's actually whatever insane. They used there, but it was 1,000 units of whatever their money is here, which we don't know the exchange rate, but it sounded insane. I think the cyborgs even say that like it's more than what anybody is paying for a month, like a month wage for one thing of water or something. So it definitely been a problem, and Boba sees that these kids need some help, and he's going to tell the guy, Lortha Peel, you need to lower your money. And he actually gives them like 500 credits and says, this is how much they owe you, even though they owed more than that. And he says, this is what you're getting. Pretty much take it or leave it. Was this the right move? Did this piss off more people than it would actually help? I mean, he does get the gang to side with him, and the gang is going to work for him now, and he gets to alleviate that problem and stop them from stealing stuff in the future. But do you think this, this guy already didn't respect him. Does this cause any further issues for Boba going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anybody in the galaxy that you make upset, you don't know who you're making upset. That's one big thing. Like it seems like these people always have somebody that's looking over them. Like there might be somebody in charge of that water that you don't know who's in charge of that, but they're not going to be very happy that you just did that. So I feel like this is definitely leading up to, not anything crazy big, but like if you make somebody upset, then it's going to naturally cause the domino effect, right? But I like this scene. I thought it was good. I liked the fact that he was like looking for his own bodyguards. Like I felt like that was something that he kind of had set out for, and I think he's interested in the fact that they're kind of like these half machine, half people kind of thing. So it's interesting to him. I was so confused. I had to rewind the episode at this part because I was like, huh? Because I wasn't expecting him to like switch sides. I wasn't expecting him to just go, no, yeah, I'm gonna go with the gang, the young kids, and you can take your water and shove it. I was so used to like Mando, like the I don't know, the respect that he had for a lot of people, and he'd always help people. Whereas Bo was kind of like, never mind. I kind of want to help them. So.
Well, I think it does make sense because I think he does see it as killing two birds with one stone, right? Like, if I can stop them from stealing, how do I stop them from stealing? Well, they need money. They need money to be able to buy these things. There's no jobs available. I have jobs available. I need security because I have millions of people coming after me. So if I can get these kids onto my side and work for me, and I'm sure they'll like doing it because it's just like protecting me. So if they want to fight, they're going to get a fight. And then they'll be able to buy water. And then this guy will never have his water stolen again. Like, I think he thinks it's fair. I think he does think it's fair. Now, the guy doesn't think it's fair because he says, these guys have stolen from me and now you're going to let them, you're actually rewarding them. You're giving them a job. And I can see both sides here, and I do wonder if this is going to be a problem for Boba. I mean, we only have 4 episodes left. You know, the main storyline hasn't really progressed a lot. I think we're getting there now that we get to the end of this one, and we even have more questions about the mayor that we'll get to. But I don't know. I think it makes sense. I think it was a good move by him so far. We might say it wasn't a good move at the end of it, I guess. But I just wonder how much sway this water guy has over the residents of the rest of Mos Espa. Is he going to go around to all these people and say, hey, if people steal your stuff, he's just going to give them jobs, you know, like, and start like anti-campaigning against him? That could cause some issues.
Yeah, could have handled it better. I guess it wasn't very political the way he handled it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're stronger at this moment. It feels like you could really help me. Like you're more beneficial to have you in my corner right now than he is with the water.
Yes. Yeah.
I can see that. But maybe Boba looked at the and we'll talk about it here coming up because it's the next part. But like the Gamorrean little soldiers, they weren't much of a help. So he's like, I gotta get some recruits out here. I gotta get some young kids in here to help me out that are half machine.
Yeah. In the back to tank, we get some flashbacks. Boba's going to talk to the Pike Syndicate. They're saying they already got money covering for a different, like making that area safe for a different place. So they're not going to give money to 2 different people over the same land is pretty much what it is. So now Boba's like has to go take care of the bike. It was like the gang that we saw torching the homestead, like one of the homesteads in like the first episode. And as he's heading back to the Tuskens, the place is destroyed. Their camp is gone. We see some dead Tuskens, and now I think it's plain to see why Boba's been on his own. Just like I had predicted last week, and a lot of people were predicting, you know, the Tuskens are dead. I'm not sure if all of them are. I think some people said that like the female Tusken that helped him wasn't seen anywhere. I couldn't see her anywhere. So maybe some of them are still alive, but definitely the leader. I think the leader was dead. He had like the red stuff on. He wasn't anywhere to be seen. I mean, like he was to be seen dead, not alive. But I don't know. I think it's very interesting, you know, how quickly that had happened. I kind of had that feeling when, you know, they're showing him ride back. I'm like, okay, you wouldn't be wasting this time showing us ride back if it's not about to have a punch here. And the punch is that his people are gone. These are people he took under his wing, and they took him under his wing, you know, under their wings. And now the tribe was destroyed by the Nikto gang, which is how it's written here. And then while we're in the middle of that, we're hit with this emotional moment. Boba's pulled out of the back to tank, and we get Black Chrysanthemum here, the Wookiee, coming in and trying to finish Boba off. What'd you think of this fight scene, Logan?
It's freaking awesome. I love like the circular rooms, like the Kylo Ren and Rey kind of thing. I love the circular room fights, and I love too when it's like a weird pleasure I get when the hero gets thrown around a couple times. Like he gets absolutely demolished by Black Chrysanthemum. So it's like he throws him up against the tank, he throws him up against the boxes, like stuff falls on Boba, and it's great. I really enjoyed it. And then you kind of get to see Black Chrysanthemum take out the Gamorrean army, and like with just basically like flicks them, and they go falling and flying. There's just no match for the Black Chrysanthemum. So plus every time I see a black Wookiee, I'm like fascinated because they're all brown. Like the ones that I've always seen, they've always been brown. So it's like he looks spooky with his eyes, like they're so white against that contrast of the black. Like it, and then he's got like the metal like spike things on him.
Yeah,
he's terrifying because you know we've all grown to love Chewie probably more than anybody in all of Star Wars as far as you know, creatures are concerned, but it seems like the Black Chrysanthemum almost seems, doesn't he seem almost more human too? Like he almost seems more like,
you know why? I think this is like, I don't know if it's more human or why I think he's more intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we don't really hear him speak. We have
Yeah.
not heard him really let out a Wookiee roar like we do with Chewbacca, and that
Mhm.
humanizes Chewbacca, I think, where we're hearing him talk, you know, we can't understand what he's saying, but you're like, you know, it's the way he's relaying himself.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's like, if you relate it to a human, he's like the silent assassin type
Right.
that's just standing there like, I'm not going to talk, you know? And I think that's what's making him intimidating. Like, we're so used to hearing like a Wookiee talk and be very conversational. Even all the other Wookiees on Kashyyyk in episode 3,
Right.
talking to Yoda and stuff. This is just something totally different. And I think that is what, I think it's a nice contrast with it. Now, you know, he doesn't always have that personality in the comics. He has spoken and stuff in there, but it's just the way that's portraying in live action. You're like, I gotta take this guy seriously. He is not like goofy. He's not messing around here, you know?
Yeah.
And when you see this fight and him getting hit with some of the stuff that you think would stop him, like he gets stabbed and he just like shrugs it off. That is the stuff that makes it intimidating too. And really, it's, if it wasn't for Fennec Shand and the fact that Chrysanthemum just happened to step where the Rancor would usually be, that's how they capture him. Instead of putting him in like somewhere else, they just throw him into the Rancor pit and just say, all right, well, there he is. He's taken care of right now. He's not going to be able to get out of there. And we'll kind of handle it after that. I thought that was very interesting. So after that fight, the twins are going to arrive, the Hutts, and they bring a Rancor as a gift. And Boba's trying to be nice here. He says, I'm going to give you back Black Chrysanthemum then. That's what we're going to do. The Hutts don't want him. They're like, you keep him. We don't care. And you keep this Rancor. And Boba, trying to be more honest, trying to be a man of honor, he decides to let Chrysanthemum go. And Chrysanthemum looks shocked, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, what? You're just going to let me go? He's like, no harm.
Everybody runs.
Yeah, he runs away. But it's like, I like the way Boba handled that too. It's like, it was just, I like the way you said it. It was just business, mate, or whatever. Like, you can go, just don't try to kill me again. Pretty much is what it is.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Right. And the Hutts kind of give this like thing of, you should probably try to evacuate too, because what's coming is worse. And I thought that was something that was interesting.
Ominous.
Something that has the Hutts spooked as well.
Very ominous. Like they every time I see them, I'm like, I start to think of like the Siamese cats, like kind of the song and everything. But yeah, it's very ominous. When they said it was like, what could possibly be scaring the Hutts that have kind of owned this land for so long? Like they were the crime lords. So it was like, what has them so spooked?
Yeah, and I think we get a view of what it is here in a little bit, but we have a sweet moment of Boba taking the Rancor in and, you know, learning that like whoever it first sees is who it's going to bond to. So he wants to do it. He wants to ride the Rancor. He does not really want it to be like the way Jabba had.
Yeah, like the monster, the eating, the killing.
I mean, it'd still be terrifying if you see Boba ride on this thing, but you know, imagine that as like the final episode, him riding it on a Rancor, destroying his enemies. But you know, almost treating them like a dog. You know, this Rancor was bred for fighting, and you know all this kind of stuff. But they're actually really lovable and loyal to their, you know, to their owners and the people that they bond with. And you know, Boba starts going through that process, and then he wants to go meet with the mayor. And as they go to meet with the mayor, Mokshai's, the mayor is, again, they try to stop him, right? The mayor, Major Domo says that He's not in. He's booked like this whole month or whatever. And we get Boba and Fennec Shand just going right past them, getting in there, and nobody's in there. Not like last time. Last episode, they walk in there, the guy's there. This time, he's not. And the Major Domo is going to try to escape. And this is where the cyborgs are rocking their 1950s motorcycles with the different colors. I thought they looked pretty cool. A lot of people were complaining about that. But, I mean, if you look at, like, I don't know, it felt very prequels to me. I really enjoyed it. Like, in episode 2, you have Dex Diner, and Dex's Diner is like a 1950s diner. And some of the speeders in the prequels look very shiny and 1950s. They look like 50s Corvettes or, like whatever. So I did kind of like this. What I didn't like is the speeder chase. And the reason why is, however this was filmed, looked so slow. I don't know what it didn't feel like a high-speed chase. I don't know what it was about the way that they filmed this, but it didn't have usually if you're doing like a car chase, I'm thinking like when I just watched, the James Bond films for the first time. Again, those car chases and whatever, you're like heart is pumping. You're like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen here? I didn't feel that with this. It felt very slow. And I don't know why. I guess maybe because they probably filmed this on a soundstage with the rest of Mos Espa. I don't know. So maybe there wasn't a lot of room to actually drive instead of it being CG. I don't really know. I know sometimes with these speeder stuff, they actually do have the wheels and they just CG those out. So I don't know if they're going it felt like they're going 5 miles an hour, and it didn't feel like a thrilling chase. And I was thankful when the chase ended. But it just felt slow. What was your thoughts on the chase here?
Yeah, I kind of in the same thought. Like it was almost like they didn't have like a cart to kind of go along with the high speed chase, so they just kind of like had somebody like walking or trying to run with some of the pace of speed of the cars, or the crafts. But I don't know. It was very strange. Like I thought it was very odd. Like I thought, like you said, it was anticlimactic. Like I was expecting like the big moment, but the big moment never really happened. And then the way it ends, it was like, okay, like you just like park in front of him and then that's it. Like is this all right? Well, it was very strange. I thought it was odd. The thing I was not the biggest fan of was like you like the colors. I didn't really care for it. I saw where like that was kind of weird. Like I don't know. It just felt very 50s. I thought they were on motorcycles. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought literally they were motorcycles. I was like, wait a minute.
They kind of did look like. Yeah. I think they actually looked more like Vespas.
Yeah.
Like European Vespas.
A Mos Espa Vespa. That's what it was. Is there like a rental company on? Never mind.
Yeah, that's what they are. Yeah, Mos Espa Vespas.
Can we run one?
I didn't mind the colors, but they did look a little bulky. I think that's the problem I had with them, and I think that's what made them look slow too.
Yeah,
I think they look slow as they're bulky. Like I don't know. I would be interested to look at whenever they release the making of. Mm-hmm. To see how they filmed this, because I do think that might give us the answer of why it felt slow.
Yeah.
It could just be the direction. It could just be the direction of Robert Rodriguez that made it seem that way. Maybe there wasn't enough cuts. Like sometimes that's what helps speed up chases too. Just cuts to make it seem like stuff is going on. But it was oddly paced speeder chase.
Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, then the speeder chase ends. We don't know what's going to happen with the Major Domo, I guess, but one of the cyborgs, the one that has the eye enhancement, I don't think we have his name, sees that more Pikes are arriving, and Boba says they have to prepare for war. So this must be what scared the Hutts. Maybe the Pikes have been villains in numerous things here, like the cartoons and Solo even, and we never really got the impression that they're like something that's really going to cause a war. So I do wonder how this is going to be, and I wonder if this is the big bad. Is this what we're going to get here in the show? And do we have Boba ride a Rancor and just take them all out? But I do wonder, where we go from here. This was the episode that had most in the present day instead of the flashback, so I do think that's very interesting. Did you notice in the background at all that we see a Mandalorian character from The Mandalorian?
No. Did we really?
Yeah.
Who?
Do you remember? I think her name's Polly. She's the mechanic on Tatooine that has the pit droids.
With the droids. Yeah.
When Boba is walking in Mos Espa somewhere, I think it's near the end of the episode. I don't know. In the very far background, you see her walking with her pit droids.
No way.
Yeah, it was really cool. Let me see if I can find a picture of it.
Well, that's a cool way to mix that in. I really liked her too because she took care of Grogu too, right?
Yeah.
Like, didn't he leave him with Grogu, or the Grogu with? Yeah, I like that because then she was the one that I think she's the one too that convinced him to trust droids again. Like kind of like that droids are not all bad.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
It'll be interesting to see if she plays a part in it. But I think you're right, though. I mean, going back to Boba Fett, when you talk about the Pikes, I like what I guess because I don't know much background on them. I like you said, and Boba said if it's a war they want, it's kind of like that. That he's like, if it's a war they want, then it's a war they're going to get, kind of thing. And he's going to build an army of who, like, you know what I mean? Is it going to be a bunch of like, I don't know, vigilantes out of the crime lords, or what? Like, who's it going to be? Like, who does Boba have up his sleeve? That the only thing I could think of was like the clones, but like the clones are gone. So I don't know. Strange. Interesting to see like what direction, and if this is the big bad, then it'd be kind of confusing, I think.
All right, here it is. Oh, hold on. I didn't share the right part. Boom.
Ah.
Isn't that cool? It's when he's riding in
I like that.
to kind of meet with the person in the flashbacks. You have them there. Not the actual right actress. They just probably just threw this in kind of last minute here, but that's who it's supposed to be.
I like that.
You can tell from what she's wearing and stuff.
Yeah. And the droid following her.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I saw it first. I saw it first thing. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Then I didn't see a lot of people talking about it. Then I started seeing some people talking about it. So very interesting. But Logan, we are 3 episodes in. We have 4 left. Your overall, I guess, thoughts as we head into the not much to talk about this week. Actually, it all happened, pretty quickly.
It's quick, yeah.
But just kind of your thoughts. I'm assuming we're already done with the Hutts. We're already probably done with Black Chrysanthemum. So I'm guessing it is the Pikes that we're going to be focusing on these last 4 episodes. But I don't know. Will that last 4 episodes? I feel like it's kind of been this constant, this is the bad guy. No, actually, this is the bad guy. No, actually, this is the bad guy type of thing. And I'm assuming, look, he's probably got some beef with the Pikes because of what happened maybe with the Tuskens. So I do think he's going to be on some sort of revenge mission here. But yeah, I guess what's your thoughts? What do you think happens in these as we're almost halfway now?
Yeah, I'm almost I don't know why, but I'm just not like, I guess the Pikes are it, but like there's got to be something bigger, I would think, right? Like I don't know. I feel like just his anger and his want for revenge because they killed the Tusken Raiders, like that doesn't seem. I don't know. It doesn't seem like if they're going to cause a war to kind of take over his crime, ring or whatever it might be. Maybe that's what makes him mad. But Again, I think if the Hutts are scared, I think it's going to take a lot more than the Pikes, just the Pikes alone. So I think that there is somebody over the, I mean, maybe you know more than I do, but maybe there is somebody that is overseeing the Pikes, or that maybe the Pikes are involved with the government and they're working together, or whatever it might be that they're scared of. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of see how they play that into, because I just don't feel like the Black Chrysanthemum could have wiped out the Pikes in about 5 minutes. The way that he hit Boba. So I don't know. I'm really excited for the Rancor, though. I want to see, just the relationship that they build there with Boba Fett.
So the Pikes have had some other run-ins with. They've joined something called the Shadow Collective, where they've also teamed up with like Darth Maul and some of those, like Crimson Dawn things.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting if maybe a lot of people were speculating. I don't think it's going to happen, but a lot of people were speculating like Emilia Clarke from Solo coming back for this, and because she was, joining the crew for the.
Would she be coming out back as Daenerys, or?
Yeah, Dracarys. Yeah, she would be. Coming back as Kira.
Yeah.
And, she was kind of part of that Crimson Dawn storyline. So maybe they wrap it up in this. I don't know. I feel like with 4 episodes left, we can't really introduce that many new people. So I do think maybe you have the Pikes and maybe one more thing above the Pikes, and that's it. I don't think you can keep going here. You got 4 episodes.
No. But somebody's ruling the Pikes. Like it has to be a bigger force than just the Pikes, right? It'd be like being scared of the Tusken Raiders. I don't know.
Pikes are, have been in the past, like I said, some antagonists, but usually there's, I think, more people above them than just the Pikes. So we'll have to see how it is. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's apparently Jabba's stuff is supposed to go to the Pike, so I do think this will be kind of a big thing. Now, of course, maybe what it is I think when you talk about what is he going to set up here, we've learned about those other areas, like the Trandoshans have an area. Some of these other gangs have some areas that maybe Boba's going to try to talk them into all joining up against the Pikes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be what the next few weeks is. We know we've seen stuff in trailers of him going to meet the Trandoshans, sitting at a table and having all the lizards, with the Trandoshans. That, like, maybe we haven't seen that scene yet, and we're 3 episodes in, so it's going to happen at some time.
I was going to say there's still some things in the preview or the trailers that we haven't seen. So I don't know. I'm interested because I don't know. I feel like there's something bigger out there. Like I'm just not convinced the Hutts are like, oh man. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem odd that they would be that worried about it, especially if they are Jabba's.
I mean, they're freaking
cousins
leaving
and stuff,
like disappearing, and then telling a person that is that had betrayed all of them. But it doesn't make sense. But I guess we'll see. I like the show though. I mean, it can be divisive, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat every time I get to watch it. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The bike scene I could have done without, but that was about it for that episode, at least.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like people are not as level-headed. Like, I don't know. Like we said, we both kind of had complaints about the chase, and it's just like, okay, I could have done without that. Move on. But some people are like acting like this is the worst thing we've ever gotten. Somebody said it was the worst of the new Star Wars stuff, and I don't really understand that.
Yeah, especially with Last Jedi.
I knew you were going to do that.
You threw a softball.
Oh well. But yeah, so I think that's kind of where I sit with it. Is just I'm enjoying it. I think the thing is everybody expected some badass Boba Fett show, and that's not what this is. It's much more focused, and I actually the reason I think this episode is my least favorite is because we barely got any of the good character stuff.
That's
there
true.
was some great character stuff where we had, Boba learning from the Tuskens last week. We get a little bit of it here with them getting slaughtered, but we immediately jump to an action sequence of Boba almost getting slaughtered that it kind of takes you out of it a bit. But other than that, I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying this, and I love that I get to spend 30 to 45 minutes on Tatooine with Boba every week right now. I think that's been really great.
Yeah, stop complaining about it, because there's instances like a pandemic that slowed it all down, and we went a year without the freaking Star Wars stuff, and now we're gonna get Onslaught with a bunch of Star Wars stuff. So just chill out.
Yeah, we got Obi-Wan coming up. We got man, I can't wait until people complain about that one. That's all they've been asking for. And then we got Cassian Andor series from Rogue One. We've got Bad Batch season 2.
I was gonna say they're doing season 2 of Bad Batch.
We have Mando season 3. That just had to halt production because of COVID real quick. So I'm hoping that doesn't delay it, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, nice little short recap. Not too much to go on about this week. So if you want to give us your thoughts, if you want to tell us how much you hated the bikes and the chase, like I've seen so many complaints of online, you can reach us on Twitter at podawakens, facebook.com/podawakens, Instagram at podawakens, and email us podawakens@gmail.com. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you next week where we talk Chapter 4.
I have spoken.
It's over, Anakin!